Recently, I had a problem that public opinion in Indonesia was decreasing round by round because I didn't understand the ideology system in Terra Invicta. I pumped round for round investment points in Unity and Public Campaign missions into Indonesia and thought that would increase public opinion about my faction, the Academy, in this nation. But instead, public opinion shifted more and more towards other factions. In the end, I was able to find a solution and would like to share the cause of this problem. What investments in Unity actually doing can be quite hard to understand, especially for someone who just started to learn the game, because of all the information about the different mechanics can feel overwhelming. If we break down the Unity description, we see that per 2 investment points into Unity, it is increasing the cohesion and reducing the government score of nations. Further, it shapes the public opinion in favor of factions that own control points in this nation. Since I'm also new to this game, I assumed that, since I have control points in Indonesia, that Unity would increase the public opinion of my faction. What I did not understand is that Unity pushes the public opinion towards the average ideology of the control point owners. To understand why Unity was not increasing public opinion in Indonesia in my favor, we need to understand the ideology system first. When we have a look at the ideologies of different factions, we see that ideologies are defined by how strongly 2 different values are pronounced. The first represents how strongly a faction is pro or anti-alien aligned, and is plotted on the horizontal axis. The second represents the faction idealism or cynism, and is plotted on the vertical axis. For example, the ideology of the resistance is expressed by the values x equals 1 and y equals 0. And for the Academy by x equals minus 0.5 and y equals 1. When we have a look at the cohesion info screen for a moment, we find that the elite public ideology difference is used to calculate cohesion. If we look up these 2 terms, we find that the elite ideology is the term for the average ideology of all control point owners of a nation, and that public ideology is calculated from public opinion. To clarify how public and elite ideologies are calculated, I quickly want to do an example calculation for Indonesia. 2 control points in Indonesia are owned by the Academy, one by the Humanity First faction and one by the Resistance. Now we must look up the ideologies, multiply their xenophobia and idealism values with the control points they own. Sum up the respective values and divide the sum through the nation's control points, which gives the average, or in other words, the elite ideology. To calculate the public ideology, we need to multiply the given percentage values of each faction in the public opinion screen, with both their xenophobia and their idealism. By summing up the xenophobia and idealism products separately, we calculate the weighted averages. Now we have 2 x and 2 y values, which represent where the elites and public ideology lie at the moment. The distance between them we get by calculating the length of the vector between both points. By subtracting the x and y values from each other, square them, forming the sum, and calculate the square root. Now we see that the investment points in Unity created a problem that I showed at the start, because public opinion was pushed away from the Academy ideology towards the elite ideology. In case you are now unsure if public campaigns shift the public opinion directly or just opinion towards the elite ideology, I can calm you down. As you can see in this example, I conducted public campaigns in Indonesia, and they are shifting the opinion towards my side. But by pumping so many investment points into Unity, I completely outweighted its effect, and the Academy's influence continued to shrink in Indonesia. I hope I could show you that investing in Unity is not always influence public opinion in our favor, when we share nations with other factions. If we want to increase public opinion of our faction in these nations, we must know until which point we can invest in Unity, or when we must completely rely on public campaigns. With that, I'm at the end, and I wish you a nice day.